Hey, everybody. I'm Bruce Marshall. It's time to talk some college football. We got a special segment coming up here right now. We're going to talk about the group of six and the top five group of six teams as we see it that have a chance to crash the 12-team playoff. You know, there's one spot reserved for the best group of six side to make the playoffs. Last year it was James Madison. The year before that it was Boise State. One of these teams is going to get there, and we think it's a pretty interesting exercise here as we ramp up to the season to see the teams that we think might have the best chance to make it. Lots of football to be played, and these teams are going to be involved as well. So we'll get to all that in just a second. First of all, a couple of quick housekeeping reminders. Don't forget, click that subscribe button on your screen right there. Make sure to get all of the WagerTalk TV videos. Also, don't forget, we are right on the verge of the football season coming up here. The Gold Sheet is back. We've made some upgrades to it, and it's going to be starting as soon as the season gets underway shortly here within the next 2 weeks. Go online to the WagerTalk site, click the Gold Sheet icon there, and make sure you get the Gold Sheet for the upcoming season. Also, don't forget some of my specials up there right now, including for the rest of 2026, one special price, $799. That gets you everything, all my picks, all the baseball, all the football. It's NFL and college, all the basketball, NBA and college hoops, NHL, Euro soccer, and some of that stuff is coming up real quick. One special price at $799. That is a reduction of almost $700 from the monthly price. So check that out right now. Okay, let's talk about these group of six sides and the five that we think have the best chance to make the playoff. And we'll mention a couple of others as well. Before we begin, though, a couple of notes here. One team I would normally like to mention but can't this year is North Dakota State. They come up from FCS where they have been a powerhouse for years. Lots of national championships as recently as 2024. Got well into the playoffs last year, only lost once. They're moving up as they have been talking about for several years, and this year they're in the Mountain West. However, not eligible for the Mountain West title game or the playoff. They could get eligible for a bowl game if there are not enough bowl eligible teams, at least 6 and 6. And that's a good chance they'll do that, because last year we saw Delaware and Missouri State moving up, but they, at the end of the season, were eligible to get to a bowl. So they'll probably be in a bowl. But this year and next year, North Dakota State won't be able to participate in the Mountain West title game or the 12-team playoff. Beyond that, they will. But we've got to omit them for this season. Also, a league note here. A couple of leagues we don't think are likely to send a team to have a candidate here for the 12-team playoff out of the group of six. One of those is the Sun Belt. I know that James Madison got there last year, and Bob Chesney, the head coach, though, has moved to UCLA with a lot of his players. It's a big rebuild job for Billy Napier there. I don't expect James Madison to duplicate what it did last year or replicate what it did last year. And the Sun Belt looks kind of wide open, and I think you're going to see a lot of teams beating each other there. So that's a thought. I don't think a Sun Belt side will get involved this season. I don't think Conference USA will get a side involved either. Again, like last year, I mean, this is a grab bag. Teams are beating each other every week. Nobody's head and shoulders above the others. Maybe Western Kentucky, a little bit of a favorite. I think La Tech might be interesting, but to be a playoff team, no. And like we mentioned last year, Missouri State and Delaware moved up good enough to win some games and actually get to play one of those extra bowl bids. So I don't think Conference USA is going to send a side into the 12-team playoff this year. But the other leagues might take a look. Let's go down the list here. And the team I want to talk about first, and we've got some info on the crawl at the bottom of the screen. It's Army. And don't laugh. Listen, Army 2 years ago was pretty close to making it into the playoff. They won the American. They beat Tulane in the conference title game. That was the year, though, Boise nosed out Army to get the invite into the first 12-team playoff. But Jeff Monken, he's done it before. And last year, a little bit of a retrench, but by the end of the season, they were humming pretty good. Took apart UConn in the bowl game in Boston. A lot of guys back, and that option offense was humming again. And the quarterback, Cade Helms, is back. He rushed for over 1,200 yards last year, 18 rush touchdowns. He can put the ball in the air some as well, but it's mostly a ground and pound, and this is keeping teams off balance. Godspower Nwahi, one of my favorite names in college football, fullback. I mean, he is a tough one. 171 yards rushing in the Fenway Bowl against UConn last year. So I think this option is going to hum. keep foes off balance. The offensive line has got 4 starters back. They are going to be very, very tough to stop again. Key for Army is going to be plugging some of these new guys in on defense. They've got 8 new starters there, but it's a lot of players who were there before. A lot of rotation pieces last year are going to step in on the defensive side. Daryl Dixon, the coordinator, he's been there. He's going to keep the 3-4 alignment they had defensively last year. They think they'll be okay. One thing to remember, the Navy game comes on December 12th. That is the week after they will announce the 12-team playoff. Army-Navy will not have anything to do with if Army should lose this game, or Navy if they're one of those teams in the 12th team. That game's going to come after they decide who the 12-team playoff. And it's interesting, 2 years ago when Army won the American and just missed out on the 12-team playoff, they did have a game against Navy after that and lost. So that's still a possibility. But the Army-Navy game will not figure into the playoff equation this year, which might be a break because that should be another good one this year. But Army looks pretty dangerous to me. And I think their non-conference schedule sets up pretty well for them. Again, like it's Air Force, Navy is a conference game this year. And I think this is going to be a side to look at. Army's done it before, and I think they're going to be a team to watch again. How about let's go out to the Mountain West. And remember, this year, the Mountain West and the Pac-12 is back, and they took 5 Mountain West sides away. So it's effectively like the Mountain West is split. And there's like 2 Mountain Wests. The other one is the Pac-12 with Oregon State, Washington State, and they brought in Texas State from the Sun Belt. But left behind in the Mountain West, competitive race, and New Mexico is the side I want to take a look at as a potential contender here for a playoff berth. I think they're the team to beat in the Mountain West. Jason Eck came in from Idaho last year and really turned that thing upside down in Albuquerque. They routed UCLA in pre-league play. They were a force all season long. Played Michigan pretty tough. And they've got several key guys back, including the quarterback, Jack Lane, who turned into a real playmaker by the end of the season. Hey, they darn near beat Minnesota, which is a great bowl team, in bowl action last December. Very competitive, beat San Diego State at the end of the year, could have been in the Mountain West title game, but just missed out. Did beat UNLV late in the season. Very well-balanced offense with Lane. Now, Eck's son, Jackson Eck, is a linebacker, all Mountain West pick last year. Defense not too bad either, but just very dynamic, and I like what Eck did, all that enthusiasm he brought to the program, and Jack Lane, a very, very capable quarterback. Now, you don't have to go undefeated, I think, through out of the group of 6. It helps, like James Madison did last year. That would probably smooth your way into the playoff. But like 2 years ago when Boise lost a game, I think 1 loss shouldn't disqualify you. Maybe not even 2. But speaking of 1 loss, now there's a game at Oklahoma in mid-September that New Mexico has to play at Norman. So that's going to be pretty tough. But I think they're the team to beat in the Mountain West, and I like what Eck has done. I like Jack Lane at quarterback, and there's something special about what's going on at New Mexico. I think they're a team to watch. Now, we talked about the Pac-12 splitting away. How about Fresno State? This is another team I would watch. I think they're the team to beat in this new Pac-12 this season. Matt Entz came in last year. He had a year on Lincoln Riley's USC staff, but had been at North Dakota State before that and had won an FCS title there. Balanced offense. His teams can run the ball. They play defense, and that defense was awfully good last year. Into the bowl game last year, took apart Miami, Ohio in the bowl game. Defense looked awfully good. The question here for Entz this year, is he going to be able to find the quarterback he needs to take this thing up to the next level? They've got the running backs, Bryson Donaldson, Rayshawn Luke, good thunder, 1-2, almost 1,400 yards between them last year. So they can run the ball very well. Well-balanced attack. Christian Martin, the transfer from Maryland. They're watching him closely at quarterback. He's a big guy, strong arm. They think he might be the answer. This defense, though, really, really good last year. Like I mentioned, 10th nationally, and several starters back on the defense. Now, schedule-wise for them, September 5, the opener is against USC down in the Coliseum. That will be a tough one. And even if they lose that, I don't think Fresno is out of the mix there. But some of the bigger Mountain West games are going to be played in Fresno this season, so I think they've got a chance. The big Pac-12 games, will be played in Fresno this season. I think Fresno is a side to watch here, and I'd consider them as one of the 5 teams that has a chance to storm the playoff from the group of 6. A couple more to take a look at here. Let's go to the MAC in Western Michigan. Last year, at the end of the season, Western Michigan was just rolling through the MAC. Whipped Miami, Ohio in the title game, romped in the bowl game 41-6. over Kennesaw. They looked very, very good at the end of last season. And this is Lance Taylor. It finally came all together for him in his third season at Kalamazoo. They have a couple of guys back, and their quarterback, Brock Lowry, and the running back, Jalen Buckley. Both these guys could have gone into the portal and picked up a nice paycheck, but they're staying at Kalamazoo for one more year. Down the stretch last season, Western Michigan, like I said, they won 10 of their last 11 games. Offense scored about 31 points per game last year. Enough returnees there. Defense looks like it's good enough, certainly, to survive in the MAC. They do have a game early against Michigan. This is interesting. It's the opener, and that's Kyle Whittingham's first game at Michigan. But the schedule doesn't look too bad. The only other game, non-conference, the game versus Rice could be a challenge. But I think this is the class of the MAC, and a one-loss MAC team would certainly have a chance to get in the playoffs. So I'd look at Western Michigan there. And one more, sort of a default recommendation. How about Boise State? I think we got to talk about them once again. Although what I would worry about Boise is the last 10 times they've played Power 4 opposition, they have lost. So I think they're just down a notch. And last year they sagged a bit. 9-5 last year. Spencer Danielson beginning his third full season as head coach. Now they had that big season the year before when Ashton Genty was there. They missed him last year, but Dylan Riley came in, the running back, not too bad, gained well over 1,000 yards rushing. So they still have that running component. And Maddox Madsen back at quarterback for one more year. He is a nice playmaker. So I think he gives them a puncher's chance. But like I said, they fell a little bit short against some of the better teams in the schedule. We'll see if the defense can step it up. But they do have some playmakers offensively. They should be in a mix just because of their history here. You almost have to include Boise State in there. And we'll see. They do have that game at Oregon early. That's probably going to be a loss. And then they're going to have to take care of business in the new Pac-12. We'll see. Don't want to dismiss them. A few other sides I might take a look at. Won't elaborate on them too much. We mentioned Army and Navy before. Navy is another one I would watch out of the American. Also maybe Memphis out of the American. I would take a look at them out of the new Pac-12. San Diego State is kind of interesting. If a Sun Belt team emerges, maybe it's going to be Troy. If a Conference USA side emerges, maybe Western Kentucky. But I think those other 5 teams we mentioned at the start, much more likely to get involved in the 12-team playoff. We will see how it goes. Okay, don't forget, if you got any comments, hit the comment box on the screen. I would love to hear from you. We'll be back with more videos here pretty soon. Don't forget, check out the Gold Sheet up at WagerTalk.com, and make sure you get all set up for the football season coming up, and my special all-pick pack through the end of December reduced to $799. So until next time, it's a goodbye from me.